Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Alyssa, and this is Cleat Beat. Cleat Beat is the women's soccer show that covers from club to country, international, as best as I can across the world. So let's get into it this week. Call ups for the international break have come and gone, trainings have come and gone, games have come and gone. I mean, Portugal, you okay out there? Yikes. Some teams are preparing for the Euros this summer. That happens in a couple of weeks. Mary Earps just retired, so that's changing the landscape. And the U.S. women's national team is preparing for a couple of friendlies, which is what I would like to get into today because the call ups for the senior national team have a couple of changes. Let's go. Let's talk new names. We finally see Lo'eau LaBonta of the Kansas City Current get her first call up with the senior U.S. women's national team. Congrats, Lo. This makes me really, really happy. I'm not a Kansas City Current fan by geography, but watching them play is always exciting. Nobody tell my wife. They hate it when I root for anyone else but our home team. But when I think of a reliable, successful midfielder, I do find Lola LaBonta on my top three short list, like easily. I previously had asked a group of my friends why Lola LaBonta had never received a call up. But the Kansas City Current captain is really known as the Celly Queen or the Celebration Queen, but she's a natural leader. She's a consistent tactical midfielder. She is small but mighty, and I would not want to go against her 1v1. I think she could take anyone down. This is a position also that the senior U.S. women's national team has been kind of looking to fill out. We've kind of rotated a couple of players in the midfield with Sam Coffey and Lindsay Heaps. We've previously seen Corbin Albert in that spot, Olivia Moultrie rotating in, Lily Johannes. So I think they're always kind of looking for that middle spot and kind of what works and what gels and what goes. I mean, we're looking ahead to the Women's World Cup. Hello. So we want to buff up the midfield. This isn't men's soccer where the midfield actually plays. So very exciting for Lo'eau LaBonta. Looking to see how she fits in ongoing, and who knows? We got another new call up in Carrie Ago, who of the Orlando Pride or Avello. I've only seen it written down, but a defender for the reigning NWSL champions. Congrats, Orlando. She did play in every match last season and also played in the championship game, played a part in the Shield game. I mean, she's been playing in the U.S. soccer realm, I think, her whole life. She got her first call up at the U14 level in 2013. Also earned a call up to the U15s, the U17s, U18s, U19s. Attended a US U23 women's national camp in 2022, and she scored in the 3-0 win over Sweden that year. So, you know, it kind of was like the US soccer system started to work with Carrie, at least. It's exciting to see another defender called up just to beef that rotation up. I think it's kind of hard to know what's the lock and loaded. We often see Emily Fox, we Naomi Girma, but Tierna Davidson recently just got injured, so that spot's missing. Jenna Neiswanger got injured and hasn't been playing. Um, just kind of rotating in Giselle Thompson, who got injured at this camp with a hip injury. So I think we're in the phase of rotations, which seems like the lore of Emma Hayes. Now, there are a couple of names that we're used to seeing that we're not seeing for the senior team. We have Jenna Neiswanger missing from the call up, and she did play limited minutes in the championship for the UWCL. Congrats, Arsenal, for winning that one. That was a wild game. Jane Campbell, amongst many other goalies, Casey Murphy, Aubrey Kingsbury, no call-ups for them, but we're seeing the return of Fallon Tillis-Joyce, affectionately known as an octopus. I don't know how she makes some of her stops. Jaden Shaw is on the U23 roster, which I think some would say a demotion, and Hayes claims it's for improving and supporting players. which I think is supposed to be the whole point of the U23 team, from my understanding, like a feeders team. You see this more accurately done with other national team youth programs, I think. But like something happens in the US soccer program where it's like you can make it through the camps and then all of a sudden the gap between the senior team and like the last of the youth camps is the Grand Canyon. Now, we did see Corbin Albert sent to the U23s as well, which I agree with completely. And I don't think if you've watched any other Cleat Beats about national team services, you know how I feel about this player. And I just think ultimately she's not shown up the same way since the Gold Cup 2024, which also coincidentally happened right before a bunch of stuff came out online about her and her behavior and her beliefs. So maybe this will be helpful for her to play in the U23s to get over the fact that every time she touches the ball or subs in that she gets booed. I think you have to sort of, you know, you gotta stand on 10 toes. I don't know. The U23s are meant to be that bridge, right? We're talking about this huge gap between, like, you have Lily Johannes, who's a teenager getting called up into the senior camp, but then you have Mel Barcenas, who plays in the NWSL, who's 16, I think, and she plays on the U15s or the U17s, and so it's like where does it make sense? Like, what are the rules? It's not really clear to me, but maybe someone who is a U.S. soccer programs expert could help us out. That would be good to know. But yeah, I think Jaden Shaw's coming back from an injury. Mia Fischel's coming back from an injury. Corbin Albert's on the U23 team as well. And I think, maybe this is a good place to sort of focus on the development of whatever that looks like without the pressure. I don't know. Emma Hayes isn't calling me up. Hey, Emma Hayes. Is Emma Hayes using the youth system the way it's supposed to be used? I think it's too early in her tenure to tell, but I'm interested. I'm interested to watch. It seems like maybe she agrees with me that it's not very clear what the T is on sort of the youth programming promotion system. So maybe we'll get some clarity. Maybe this head coach will let us in more behind the scenes. Who knows? It's tight lips over there at US Soccer. That's all for this episode of Cleat Beat. Let me know what you think about these moves around the national team. Do you like it? How'd you feel about their performance against China? I thought it went pretty well. Let me know in the comments below.